and welcome back to my channel. I cannot freaking believe we are halfway through 2023. Like, what the heck? Where the heck has this time gone? Like, I just don't understand. I feel like it has absolutely flown by, and I want to see if I'm actually keeping track of any of my goals, or like if I'm on track with them. So in today's video, I thought I would go over the goals that I set myself at the beginning of 2023, my 2023 plant resolutions, go over them and see how we're doing now, to see if we're keeping on them or if I've just completely ignored them. Because I still have time. If I have messed up, I still have 6 more months to try and get back on track and make sure that I am really not pushing myself, but like striving to be the best plant parent I can be. That's it. Before I get into my goals for 2023 and how I'm doing now, I just want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. So let's look at my goals. First, I should say, if you've not watched my goals video from the beginning of the year, you don't need to before this because I'm going to talk about all of them, but if you want to like hear why I'm getting into a lot of these things, go check out that video. It's a fun video. It's a repot and chat, very chill, easy, that kind of thing. But yeah, let's just get into it. This first resolution probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. It is just to continue being mindful about my plant spending. So I've got my notes here because I rewatched that video earlier and kept notes on things that I'm doing or not doing. But as you saw, the first goal was to be a bit more mindful and aware of my plant spending, like not just frivolously buying whatever I want. And I did pick that because I knew that like I'm gonna spend money on plants. I just will. That is a given. It is my job. It is what I like to do. It's my hobby. So I think it's almost impossible for you to not spend any money on plants, but being aware of the money I'm spending and not going overboard and just being a bit more mindful of it was the goal. And I think I have been doing pretty well at that. I did, for the most part, stick to my plant ban through January and February up until March. I did about 6 months, like October to February, maybe that's 5 months. But I did a stretch of time over the winter where I was trying not to buy any plants at all. And for the most part I did. I think I maybe got 1 or 2 things during that time, and they were things that I could not have possibly gotten later. Like a plant friend was getting rid of some plants that she no longer felt like she could take care of, and so it was like kind of the only time I'd be able to get those plants from her because she was getting rid of her whole collection. So it was like those kind of things where it was just a couple small things. I did make those purchases, but other than that, I really did stick till March, and March rolled around and I did go through a bit of a plant buying spree. I was feeling like I wanted to buy some plants, which is fair, but I didn't buy lots, and I have been keeping the amount I'm spending down. I think I've been pretty good at making sure that I'm not just like spending hundreds of pounds on things. Given I haven't looked over my expenses this year in totality, I will do that in December when we can really review these goals. But I think that thus far I've been doing a really good job on my plant spending and not really, I don't think I've actually spent that much, I say, having not looked at it. But in my head, I don't feel like I've spent that much. I think I've spent less this year than I had last year at this point. And a lot of that's just because I've not been home or like free to buy plants, and I haven't felt like I've been able to take care of the plants that I have very well, so adding new plants into this collection probably wouldn't have been the best idea. So I've not been buying tons and tons of things at the minute. I've also turned away collaborations, which I know doesn't count as spending, but it counts as me getting more plants. I've turned down collaborations because I just haven't got the like capacity or space to handle more plants at the minute. I feel like even at the beginning of the year, I felt like all of the surfaces were covered, but they're still all covered now, and maybe more of them are. So I just don't have the space and the time and energy, especially for like imports, which is what I've been getting a lot of like contact about. I don't have the time and energy to deal with more imports. I've already done 2 this year, and I feel like that's all I really fancy doing. That could very well change if I see something I really freaking like, but it's just not been something I felt like I could spend the time and energy doing at the minute, so that's fine. But part of the goal of me being more mindful on spending is to take care of the ones I do have, which I also don't think I've been doing that great of. I mean, I've been fine. I've only lost a couple of plants in the past 6 months, but just since this time has been so busy, it's not been a priority in my life. And I know I've talked about that a lot. You can go watch other videos where I talk about that because I don't need to rehash it again, but it's not been my current priority, and I don't like that, and I don't like that my plants are probably suffering a little bit because of it, but it's just meant that I have not felt the need to get more plants because I'm already overwhelmed with the ones I have, so I don't really need to be buying more. I also have some specific goals, like plant specific ones that I want to like happen this year. One of which I have spoken about quite a lot is that I want to like really get a handle on like Peperomia as well as Cacti and Succulents. I have been seriously trying towards this one to get my Peperomia and Succulents happy in my collection, and I think I have done pretty well. I am actually really proud of the growth I've been able to get on my Peperomias, and because of that I'm even trying more out and getting more in to like try and prop them and grow them well. I think I've not mastered, because I feel like that's a bit too extreme of a statement, but I feel like I'm getting the hang of propagating them, and I've definitely been successful with my frost now that I've moved it out of the light. Like, I'm learning their signals a little bit better because I wasn't really familiar with them before, and so I feel like I'm definitely getting there on the Peperomia front. Like, I've not killed any Peperomia this year. I've also, as far as I know, I killed one Echeveria. I've, for the most part, not killed any Cacti and Succulents, and I have been doing pretty well with them as well. You saw I just updated my Redsta cabinet to make that a Cacti and Succulent spot because the Arcadia Jungle Dawn light in there is equivalent to bright direct light all day, and I think they'll be absolutely loving it in there. I am still keeping my eye on it because obviously that is quite new, but I think they will really like that situation. And the humidity in there, because the, like, none of them are really in substrate, which holds the moisture, is pretty low most of the time. I think I did just put my swap cactus in there, which was in soil, which did raise the humidity like 10%, which is quite crazy because that one was quite moist. But for the most part, since they're all in semi-hydro, they just don't raise the humidity. So it's been like in the 40s, which is perfectly okay for them. They could probably handle drier, and I could probably get like a dehumidifier sachet or something, not like an electric one, but like the small ones that you like put in your wardrobe or something. I could probably put something like that in there to like dehumidify it further, but I'm really not worried about it. And I'm really freaking proud of myself for trying these new things and experimenting and getting into this whole new section of plants. It has only been 6 months, so I'm by far not an expert, but I'm really proud of myself for pushing myself to learn new things and try new things, and yeah, that is a goal that I feel like I'm actually really succeeding in, which I'm proud of myself for. Another plant-specific goal I had was this one. Another specific goal that I have for a specific plant is to size up my big Monstera. I have not succeeded with this one at all. I mean, you can see my Monstera here. And I have tried to help encourage it to grow bigger leaves. I've got it on a pole, which I have kind of been keeping moist. That's something I need to work on better. But it's just not like regained the secondary fenestrations that I wanted it to. I think it might be because it's not getting enough light in this corner. You can see it's not terribly bright there. It's like 3-4 meters away from a southwest facing window, and it's cloudy outside today, and when the sun does come through, it doesn't really shine all the way like directly at this one. So I don't think it's getting quite enough light. I do have a grow light there, this one. It's a Sansi bulb, I believe. That one only tends to go on in the evenings because, I mean, I don't really need it on during the day because I mostly use it as like ambience in the room. So yeah, this Monstera just hasn't, it was so big and beautiful right when I got it, and I love the secondary fenestrations of like these leaves down here. Look at that. I mean, that's a first fenestration, but like this one. But it's just not, and I don't know what else I can do to potentially get it to grow better. Because like it's almost at the top of the pole at this point. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, and I don't know if that's going to be something that's feasible for me to undertake this year, but it can still be part of my goals, I guess. I don't know. I think I just need to move it to a brighter spot. I just don't know where. I don't have like tons and tons of spots that I can just like put giant plants. So it kind of just has to be where it is right now. This was my next goal. I think I'm gonna try and do a sort of 1 in, 1 out policy on my plants. And I think I had really good intentions here. The 1 in, 1 out policy makes a lot of sense. I try to do that for my wardrobe as well, but like, you know, it doesn't really work. Though I know I got a huge wardrobe anyways. Doesn't really matter. But I think the qualm I have is what counts as in and out. Like, is it just anything that I receive in and anything at all that I put out? Like, can I take a cutting of something and that be counted as out, but I still have the full plant of it? I say probably not. I think I've mostly interpreted it in like things that are taking up space. So like not really counting it as props. Like if I'm taking a prop to someone, unless it's a quite large prop and it's like the only thing I have of that plant and it's taking up space and I'm getting rid of it completely, then that would count. But for the most part, props don't count. It's mostly just full plants. And same with receiving. If I receive some cuttings and taking them in isn't gonna take up any more space in my collection, like I'll chuck them in a prop box or like put them in a tiny jar, that doesn't really count in my mind. It's more so if it's like a whole plant. I think I am just justifying it myself a little bit because I have gotten cuttings in and not put cuttings out in replacements, but I think that is a fair thing. I have tried to keep a list, which I have been fairly on top of, and I do know pretty well about what's going in and out. I'm probably missing a few things on each list, but for the most part I have been keeping track of it, which is good. And I've also been keeping track of how I'm giving it away, or is it dying, or how I'm receiving it. Is it a gift? Is it a swap? Have I bought it? Yeah, I'm proud of myself for keeping the list. So that is really good. As of right now, I have 44 in and 26 out. So it's kind of closer to the 2 in, 1 out situation, which I think is fair, but I also don't know where the heck all of these plants have gone when they've come in. It doesn't feel like I have the space for them. I'm really not sure. But that being said, there are some more plants that I do feel like I could get rid of at the minute. I've just not had the time to actively purge a little bit. Though that does lead into the next goal as well, which was this. Is to be more aware when I'm like losing interest in a specific plant, and instead of letting it get to a point where it is dying because I've stopped caring for it because I don't care about it and like I'm just not feeling it anymore. Instead of doing that, I want to be more aware of it sooner. And like as soon as I start to feel like I'm not enjoying the plant anymore, give it to a friend or sell it. This one is kind of hard for me to do thus far this year just because I've not had the time in general to care about even the plants I like. So when I'm losing interest, it's not the easiest of things to notice, though I am trying. I do have a list of things on my phone that I would be willing to give away, and I do want to be doing a proper purge soon. It's just, like I said, not something I've had time for. So far, the majority of this video has just been me saying I've not had time for anything because I haven't. I've just been so freaking busy. But I do have a list of things, and maybe I can make another video of plants that I'm getting rid of at the minute and why. Because that really helped last time to get a bunch out because people said they wanted them. And I mean, a lot of them, the thing is, I don't really fancy shipping because they are larger things, and like that's just going to cost me or the buyer money when they might not be perfect plants. So I feel like aside from a few small things, if I do a video like that, or if I do try and sell them or trade them away or something, I'll likely do it locally. So like part of me just wants to like bring a bunch of big plants to the next London plant swap and just be like, take them away, put them on the free table or something. But at the same time, that's in October, so it's got a long time to wait until then. So I think that is something that I probably should do. Maybe that'll be another one of my videos this month, is plants that I'm getting rid of. Probably should. But yeah, I do think I want to just like go around my collection and have like a deep look at what I think is working well for me or what isn't, and whether or not I want to put the effort in those plants that aren't necessarily doing great to figure out if they have a better spot in my home, and decide that. It's just something that I think we should all do every now and then. Maybe it's every 6 months, maybe it's once a year, maybe it's every month. I feel like if it's every month, you probably have a problem with buying too many plants, which I probably do, but I don't think I need to be doing it quite every month. Maybe every 6 months is a good time to be thinking about like actually doing a bit of a purge, because there's always things that I like get in that I want to try, and like it's something that I thought I would really like or I thought would do really well in my home, and it just hasn't been, or like it hasn't been piquing my fancy as much as I thought it would. So I feel like it is fairly normal to have these sort of things in your home that you don't feel like you are getting on with anymore. So it is normal, and I don't want to like put shame on it at all because I know I have them in my collection. So it is what it is, and probably should get rid of some plants that I'm not feeling right now. So I need to be better at this goal. This is a goal that I would like to get better at and like pay more attention to now that I have a little bit more time that I can spend with my plants. Up next, it wasn't really a planty goal, but more of a plant equipment spending goal. I'm also considering doing maybe not a no-buy for plant equipment, because I think that's dumb. If I need plant equipment, I need plant equipment. But maybe setting a sort of budget on it. To be honest, I have not freaking thought about this goal since I made it. It has not been a priority, but at the same time, I don't think I have spent tons of money on plant equipment, mostly because I've not been buying much in general for good growing. Like, I feel like I'm pretty situated in my home. Like, I have pretty much everything that I need at this point. I'm not really feeling like I'm in use for anything. It's like, I don't need to buy another cabinet because I have my cabinet. So it's not like there's gonna be another big plant purchase unless I'm buying a freaking greenhouse for my non-existent garden. I'm fine, and I'm not gonna do that. So I feel like my my like planty equipment spending is still pretty low, but I need to keep track of that now that I have a bit more time to spend with my plants, to make sure that I'm not just like frivolously spending money on random stuff. Though I've not even made myself a budget or thought about it. I just haven't really been spending either. Another plant specific goal was this one. Another thing that I wanted to learn and try my hand at this year is pollinating anthuriums. And I have done this, I think, successfully once. It is the one that I was talking about when I made that video originally. I pollinated my crystallinum with Frigidii white stripe pollen, and it has since worked. I was very unsure whether or not it had for a while, but the inflorescence hadn't died off, so I mean, that was a positive sign. But then recently, in the past couple months, I have started seeing the like little sites bulging, so it's definitely pollinated with something. I don't think it's heavily pollinated, but there is some pollination there, which is so freaking exciting. And I don't know when, if ever, I'm gonna get these berries, but I think it'll probably be a while. It's just like, it makes me so happy that I've been able to successfully do that, because it's not something that's ever been a goal of mine previously to pollinate anthuriums. I didn't really care before, but it was something that I really wanted to be able to do at some point in my plant career, so this is, I suppose, the year for that. We will see if I'm able to grow an anthurium from a seed that I pollinated myself. That would be freaking cool. Maybe in the next 6 months, maybe not. I guess we'll find out down the line, but that is where I'm going further with that goal. Other than that, I really haven't had much chance to do such pollination, either because I've been away and not able to pollinate when they're ready, or a lot of my anthuriums just haven't infloresced, which is perfectly fine and normal. I don't have tons that are like large and mature enough, like my crystallinum, to possibly create flowers. Not create flowers, but like have the energy to make seeds that are fertile. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I've just really not done it with anything else, just that one, and I'm very proud of that one, so that is exciting. This next one, let's look at it. Another one of my goals is to dust my plants more. I am not the best at reminding myself to dust. Like, I know that. It probably comes as no surprise that I have not thought about this one either at all since I made this video. Maybe I like spent like a week dusting a little bit more than usual, but there are still plants in my collection that are massively dusty. It's just plant care in general has not been a priority, so dusting, which is like my least favorite of the planty chores, has not been a priority, and so I've just not done it. But it is something that, now that I am back more into my normality of things, I can probably make possible. Once, like, now that I'm back into a routine, or I'm getting back into a routine, I can re-add that to the routine and hopefully get more plants dusted and help them photosynthesize better, because photosynthesis is cool. I had one more general collection goal, and this is what it was. This is another goal of mine, which is continuing to keep my collection as pest-free as possible. I don't think I can eliminate all pests ever, because I don't think that's a reasonable task or goal, but trying to be more on top of pest control is something that is reasonable to do, and I think I can do so. And obviously I still believe that it's not quite feasible to be completely pest-free, but I do think I have been a bit more understanding about pests in my collection. I've not been as worried about it. You might have seen in recent videos where I'm like, oh, this plant has thrips, okay. Whereas like 2 or 3 years ago I would have freaked out and like immediately provontoed and like felt yucky. I don't really feel that like ick anymore when it comes to pests. I'm like kind of used to it because I almost always have some sort of pests in my collection. But I have been very on top of the predatory mite sachets as a sort of preventative thing. I have added spider mite ones to my subscription as well. I have a subscription with Ladybird Plant Care. This is not sponsored from them. I pay this every month to get sachets of predatory mites. Not every month, every 6 weeks or so. And basically I buy every 6 weeks 10 thrips sachets and 10 spider mite sachets, and I dot them throughout my house every 6 weeks. It sounds like I'm buying sachets of thrips. No, preventative mites or predatory mites for those pests. But every 6 weeks I do that, and I am staying a bit more on top of it. I also have been pretty good at not using any chemicals. I've not used Pronto in ages. I've been steering away from that in general for I think a while now, just because things like Pronto, which do work really well to get rid of thrips, they also get rid of pretty much everything living in your plant. So all of the good living soil that I've been trying to create with like Rhizo Plus from Liquid Gold Leaf, which is like natural fungi in the soil that helps your plant's roots, and like springtails and all of that, those just die with Pronto as well. So I've been trying not to use that, and I mean, I've succeeded. I've not used Pronto on any of my plants this year. I kind of think of that now as like a very, very, very last resource. Like if I really don't have time, if I've got like a huge infestation and I'm about to go away on holiday and I don't have time to like treat frequently, that's sort of something that I would use. But otherwise, I'm just gonna stick with like horticultural soap and maybe neem oil. But for the most part, I've just been using the predatory mites and like squishing them manually if I see a thrip. So I think I am doing better with that, and I'm just a lot more understanding of it than I have been in previous years. And then this was my last goal for 2023. My last plant specific goal is to get my Hoyas to bloom, and I am so freaking excited to share that this has freaking worked. I mean, I don't know if I did anything to make this happen, but I got some Hoya blooms this year, my first ever Hoya blooms. Oh my god, I nearly cried at my first Hoya blooms. I was just so freaking excited. They happened on my Croniana splash, and since those first set of blooms, I've had several on that plant. There's been quite a few peduncles that have just like emerged since. It kind of went from like nothing for like a year to like 8 blooms in the span of a few months, which is really, really exciting. And I loved watching those. I even got a time lapse of one, which I was super excited about. And then I have had a second Hoya bloom, which I think I've spoken about once or twice here. And it was my Hoya Rosita, or it is. It's still blooming right now, which is exciting. I wasn't able to get a time lapse of this one because I was away when it opened, but these flowers are so different. Like, if you look at the two, they're just completely different styles of flowers, which I think is so much fun, and it really makes me more excited for more Hoyas to bloom. That one I also just like didn't do anything and it just bloomed, so I don't know, maybe I just need to let them run their course, and it's not really a goal that I can do anything towards, but I'm still really excited about it. I do still really want to get my Crimson Princess to bloom at some point because I did grow that one from propagations, but I don't think it's necessarily in a super bright spot there, it's just there. So I don't know if I will ever be able to get it to bloom there. I might need to move it somewhere else to give that a go. I don't know if they need bright light to do it or not, but all I know is that I'm excited that all of the blooms on my Hoyas have not been death blooms, they've been happy alive blooms, which is just brilliant. That is all I have freaking wanted, and I'm just like, oh, it's made me so happy and excited to watch more Hoyas bloom and maybe even get Hoyas like for their blooms. I don't know if I'm quite at that stage yet, but maybe one day, maybe freaking one day. So yeah, that is my review of my goals for 2023, my resolutions. I think overall I am doing pretty well, but that might also be just because I've not had time to spend any money. So hopefully in these next 6 months I can continue along the positive path for the ones I'm doing well on, and the ones I've not done as well on, like kick myself into gear. This is the kick in the behind I needed to like hopefully get those like more into my routine and work harder on the goals that I've not been succeeding as well with. So yeah, I'm really glad I made this video actually, to like give myself a little boost and like be proud of myself, because lately I've been feeling quite down on myself about plant care, just because a lot of things have not been doing the best because I've not been like present enough here to take care of them and like see to their every need. So I've been feeling quite down about it, but I feel like looking at these goals and knowing that I'm actually doing pretty okay with them, or if not well with them, has made me feel a lot better about things and given me the confidence to like continue working on this stuff and better myself as a plant parent. That sounds so freaking cheesy, but it's true. That's what I want to do. I want to better myself as a freaking plant parent and keep freaking growing. Yes. Before I sign off, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest members of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon. I had a little bit of an influx of them coming in, which is so exciting. I'm so excited to get to know you. You know who you are, but I really want to say a big thank you to Cacti, Leanne, and Alex for joining the Good Growing fam. I really hope you enjoy it, and I hope to see you in our live chat this weekend. If anybody else is interested in joining my Patreon, I will have it linked down below as normal. It's £3 a month, I think like €4 or $4 or something, and there is so much bonus content on there now. Like, there's a lot there, so you will have a lot to catch up on if you join. And if you just want to binge some more of my videos or get to know me better through live chats or vote on my videos or all of the fun things that I have going on over there. So yeah, that's there if you are interested in joining. Absolutely no pressure if you don't want to or can't. It doesn't change my content here really, and it just makes my life that tiny little bit easier when people do join. So yeah, if everybody else here liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on how you're doing with your goals. Did you set goals for 2023? Are you doing well? Do you think I'm doing well? Please give me positive vibes and validation so I continue feeling this good about myself. And yeah, leave a comment on anything else plant-y related you'd like me to talk about in the future. And don't forget to subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!